This morning, by God's grace, we will continue our studies from Judges chapter 10. We'll read verse 1 to verse 5. Judges chapter 10, from verse 1 to verse 5. I'm reading from NIV. After the time of Abimelech, a man of Issachar, Tola, son of Puah, the son of Dodo, rose to save Israel. He lived in Shammah, in the hill country of Ephraim. He led Israel 23 years. Then he died and was buried in Shammah. He was followed by Jair of Gilead, who led Israel 22 years. He had 30 sons who rode 30 donkeys. They controlled 30 towns in Gilead, which to this day are called Jair. When Jair died, he was buried in Carmel. This morning, brethren, there are a lot of things I want us to consider from that passage. The first one, it will not be from that passage alone. I observed that the judges in Israel, Abimelech was from a tribe of Manasseh. Gideon was from the tribe of Manasseh. Abimelech, forcefully anyway, took over and from the tribe of Manasseh. Tola here we read from the tribe of Issachar. After him, it was Jair from Gilead, and most likely from the tribe of Judah. So I observed that most of the judges came from different tribes. It was Abimelech forcefully took over from his father, who was from tribe of Manasseh as well. What can we say to leadership coming from different tribes in Israel and leadership coming from the same tribe? What can we say to this? Are there consequences? Is it okay like that? Or should we consider the former tribe before for us to know who the next leader will be? Is it a factor in determining the tribe from where the next leader will come from? It's a question I'm asking this morning, and I want to welcome contribution from anybody who wants to say anything about that. Okay, Bro Shegun, go ahead and make your contribution, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. On to this very point where we are taking our study, I don't think that God himself has strictly given an instruction as to maybe the leader should be coming from a fixed tribe. So I'm looking at it that maybe due to situation or time, as generation and generation are forming after and after, a leader is there, passed on, another one thinking maybe it's God. We still believe it is God that is still choosing them to be the one leader. But looking at the allow each a tribe to participate is a way to allow individual participation so that the power will not just be focused on a particular tribe. Another tribe might be feeling as if are they not also having the capacity to lead, but all these things they have to be subjected to God, who will always find a way to look for the person to choose per time. But because if care is not taken, if they allow a particular tribe to continue leading, it may appear as if, okay, we are the only one that can continue. Then a father will finish, his son will take it over, even though without even considering maybe the son is qualified to handle this or not. But to this very point, indirectly, God is still the one choosing leadership for them until when it gets to point of David, they have to strictly stated it that after you, the leadership will continue from your own family. As far as they continue in my right way, following my instruction, it will continue from you. So I think God started this from the life of David then. But as we are looking at this, if you allow individual tribe also participate, it's a way to also allow them to get involved. From there, we'll be able to know which tribe is capable. Okay, this one finish, another one take, another one take. It will be like individual participation so that it will not just be that the power is fixed in a particular tribe. Another might be feeling inferior to this. But when they allow individual tribe also take position, to take place in this leadership, it will give room for participation. But at the same time, God must still be the one to be the one choosing for them as a field per time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bro Shegun, for that contribution. I think our brother has answered right. The reason why I want to consider this is because many of us, all of us too, unconsciously believe certain things to be. And by our belief, God has different reasons for doing things. Man also have different ways, different things in our minds. And including we who are believers in Christ too, unconsciously, there are certain things we also speak about, especially when it comes to the choice of leaders. There are some factors we also in our heart consider. Who was the last leader? Where did they come from? Should we be serving only that clan or that tribe? Are they not from the same family? And so on and so forth. We also have a lot of things we also consider when it comes to choice of leaders, especially leader taking over from leader, somebody taking over from leader. His father was the last, was our previous leader. Why will he be the next leader? Should he not be in from another town or community or family? Are they the only one? Unconsciously we also say things like this. Well, while it may not be out of place, saying things like that, the fact that some leaders have failed having their children in power like that may not necessarily mean God will never work that way. I don't know whether we got that. Just like Brother Shegun reminded us, there have been occasions where children took over from father as kings in Israel, especially in Judah. In fact, all the kings in Judah took over from their fathers. From David to the last king in Judah, they took over from their father. And thank God it's happened that way. It was because of Jesus who was coming through them, especially. And you observe that Eli children could not take over from him because of several things. Now, what am I talking about is that we used to go to an extreme in the discussion about who should take over from who. When we see a son possibly who is becoming a leader in an assembly, we used to think it's a taboo. We used to call it arrangements. We don't even want to give allowance to whether God will work that way or not at all. Since the father is this, it should never, that's what we used to think. It must never be from that family again. Well, while we know that it may never, the practice, the belief that it must never is what I'm trying to address this morning, that I feel we should look into. That it may not be that it must never. Instead, it's better we put it that it may never. And why are we to learn this? It's because we human beings, we have ways we do our things. And we want to give God conditions and how he will do his things. We want to impose our ways on him. And sincerely, it's a problem. How I wish we would drop all of those preconceptions and allow him have his way and allow him choose. Oh, we have experience of children who took over from fathers and they became bad leader and the likes. Well, but that may not be why we conclude that no, it can never be. To the point that once you start saying that a child is possibly participating in leadership, you begin to suspect and begin to do everything against it. In fact, some organizations, including some churches, even have it that if the last leader is from Ondo State, the next one must be from Kogi State and must be from another city. Human being, we used to have things like this. And this is part of why we don't submit to the will of God. What are we learning? While it's an extreme to believe that since the father is the leader, the next one should be one of his children. No, that's an extreme. That's not ideal. At the same time, it will not be ideal believing that, well, since the father was the leader in the last time, the children, none of the children or nobody from that family will be another leader again in the next many years. All of those are extremes. Let's always allow the Lord to have his way, especially when it comes to choice of leaders. And you know why we must have this understanding and we must trust God? You see, all of those broken systems we dig for ourselves, broken systems, idols of our hearts, the way we wish it would be, all of those things are reasons we have problems that could be avoided. When we don't allow him to have his way and we just elevate our broken systems and we present it to him, most of the time, these are the things that affect us. And there's a need for us to have understanding about how the Lord works in the midst of his people. And sometimes when the Lord now chooses somebody we believe shouldn't be. We believe shouldn't be by virtue of maybe it's from the same tribe or clan or family. Spout is tenor. It will never gain our support. That's human being. That's what we do. We murmur throughout. How can that be? How can that be? Why will it be? And so on and so forth. What I'm saying this morning is that we should understand that it is the Lord who reigns in the affairs of men, rules in the affairs of men. And that being the case, we must allow him to have his way when it comes to the choice of leaders. Sincerely, it happens in churches too. Possibly the person that the Lord is laying in the heart of a leader might be a child. For instance, it will be the child who can also coordinate the choir department very well. But the leader too is afraid of you and I, because he knows that the thing that will occur to us is that it's because he's a son, he's a daughter of the leader. So because of that, the leader too want to force himself not to make that son or daughter to be a coordinator. We do this a lot. Leaders do this a lot.
Thank you for listening to this message. Follow us for more scriptural messages as this. You can follow us on all our social media handles on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can call us on the number showing on your screen for more information. Thank you and God bless you.